Good afternoon. It is, Wednesday, June 5th? Got off work today. I did at least get a vlog edited, so I'll be able to have that up. And just trying to keep up with that. But, I get distracted. I have my attention deficit disorder, so I can't just sit and focus on just doing that the whole time. So I turned around, and I've been kind of looking at some of the stuff I got from the auction. I looked at it right when I got it, but then I kind of had to go back in the boxes, be put away. Flip through the Tome of Beasts a bit, and then just sort of set it up here on the shelf, on the side with a couple of the other things. I'm not sure if I'm going to get use out of it or not, but you know what? It's extra monsters and such. Joking hazard, I got put over on the shelf. I also learned a couple things. One, there's actually an add-on deck already in it, and also there's enough extra space that if I turn a bunch of the cards sideways, that pot-themed expansion pack can go in the box, and everything can be all nice and neat together. I don't know if or when I will play that, but it is put away. I also took some time to look through these, and I was shocked to find out what these games are. Because I knew I was getting some cool minis that are like Magic minis that, so, once we have a few of the, over here, books for Magic settings, I'll be able to have that to utilize with how I run things. It's HeroScape. That it doesn't say it anywhere that I can find in it, but it's HeroScape. Like I'm not kidding. If you're familiar, HeroScape is the game that I've played a couple times with Addison and folks from there. Does that look familiar? Because that is the tiles from HeroScape. Now the cards are very different, but if you notice that image right there, that silhouette that they utilize, it's HeroScape. I'm sure a few of the rules have been somewhat modified. Even the dice, shields, swords, blanks, hit, miss, or hit, defend, nothing. It's, yeah. It's probably somewhat changed from the rules. I doubt that you could literally just add these to, other HeroScape, because HeroScape lets you battle, robots versus Roman soldiers and such. So, I don't think it's, that much the same, but it's, basically, it's based on the same rule system. It is, I guess, the modern, what they have for that. Which I was shocked to find. I was like, okay. I would have had no idea had I not played that with Addison a couple times. But that is cool. That is very neat to find that out. So it actually gives me a little more hope for the idea of possibly doing something with that. Although there aren't, there was a couple tiles, there's only a few of the tiles in there. And it has big sheets of just flat terrain. So, oh well. It's not like adding a whole bunch of HeroScape tiles, but it's still very cool to learn, the extent that it does have a connection to that. And I've been continuing to look through stuff. I have a few books that I'm thinking just gonna go back. The first two aren't really role-playing game. They're books about a setting of a role-playing game. And then this one, it's just between the fact that it's not really, it's like a third-party, third edition supplement. And I don't care too much about third-party as it is. And then there's damage on the edge of it there. I'm like, not worth even throwing off from my little side pile. The core rulebook for Genesis got put on this shelf which is sort of I may eventually do like videos about, because it's a relatively new, system. Otherwise, I'm trying to figure out. So I got this big stack, and this big stack goes in here with other stuff. So I'm not really sure what I want to do right at this moment, as far as making space. Because obviously at some point things expand to take up another shelf. But I don't think I'm at that moment right at this point. I think maybe one of these gets turned to the side to make a little more space. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. And then take the stickers off of all these bits that I got. Actually, they're just bits. I mean, they're actually in some of them. It looks like there are some full minis. There are some little metal miniatures, single-piece miniatures of like old, like Civil War, era soldiers and stuff. But these are just going in this box here in this room, where a bunch of other bits and stuff have been put. It's sort of the minis overflow, and eventually it will be more organized and such, but that's kind of what's been there since the last auction, and there's room in it still, so that's what's going there now. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get these up on the shelf. Alright, yeah, it should turn out pretty nice. At first I turned the Strange to the side, because it's got a big wide side, but because it is thicker, in order to get things to fit, I actually had to turn this one instead. And then I basically had to take out 2 of the little free RPG Day books, so they can just sort of sit on top here and disappear for now. But some of the stuff from up here got moved down, and some of the stuff down here got moved up. The idea being Dungeons and Dragons got moved up. Still have GURPS, and then Fantasy, and then I had a little space, so Iron Kingdoms. But then, first edition D&D, second edition D&D, third edition D&D, 3.5, Pathfinder, 4th edition, which naturally goes into my 5th edition where I keep it to play. It's actually one of the goals with it since the beginning, is to kind of have a progression along there. And obviously, there's a lot of books that I'm missing, so whether it takes up more space all the way, or if it's 2 rows, or however it eventually ends up being, I don't know. But that's part of the goal, is to have just a big, long row of history. I love the game. I love playing it. I love the time and memories with my friends. I also have a personality. As a kid, I really got into Pokemon. I had them all. First, what was it, 250? Because through Gold and Silver, I had them all. Because that was when I was young and had plenty of time to do it. But collecting is fun for me. And there are various things, role-playing game stuff I'd like to collect. But D&D is definitely one of them. And, I'm at the auction, I talked to some guys, and there are some people that are collecting, and they're collecting a lot heavier on the older side of things, but some of the older side of things can get expensive. So, I have some, but I get that when it's cheaper. The more recent things are, well, for one, they're easier to get looking nicer and such. They're what I focus on. Particularly 3rd edition-ish 3.5, around this era and forward, means the most to me, because that's when I started. But I would eventually like to take the history back as well. And I've cleared out the boxes. I'll put the clipboard back where I'll remember it, and all the rubber bands. I think one of these bins up here has a whole bunch of rubber bands from every time that I've gone. I just kind of collect them, I guess. That's not so much an intentional collection as the, well, I don't throw them away, so I guess they're collecting. They're building up. And I took a look at all the other just miscellaneous board games that I got. I'm just going to put them back in one of the boxes and find somewhere to stash that box away. Like I'd said, I might give this to Dustin if I remember when he's around. But, I know he has the base game. That is expansion pack 5. I don't know if he plays the game. And if he's around, I'll offer it to him. You know, doesn't hurt. But otherwise, I'm just kind of putting all these in there. Along with the other couple books I said, just I'll have a box of things to go back into the auction. And if I have that around, I might be able to keep an eye on. I'm sure there's a few things that I have duplicates of or whatnot amongst my collection that may go there. I also got this War Machine Prime. I think there's a second edition. This is the first edition. Now I have a copy of it, but I guess I have a copy of Mark II. So maybe the copy I have is the second edition. Very cool. Anyways, I originally actually thought they were the same, but I knew this was hardcover, so I was gonna add it to it. But apparently now I have original and Mark II. So very nice. So I'll just add it. And this shelf has some just random role-playing game like weird stuff like basically where this would go if it wasn't that the corner was damaged. Would just be in the weird role-playing game section there, but it also fades off and has a bunch of mini codexes and such. And it's all stuff I'm like, am I collecting this? Not really, but I'm not collecting it. It's collecting in a very similar way to the rubber bands. I mean, it is building up here. And so, stepping aside, I've begun work on editing the auction vlogs, just because they'll take a while to do. So I was like, let's at least get them started. And not really had anything really to eat. It's getting kind of late in the day, so made myself some bratwursts. Have a bite to eat and keep working. Alright, so I got that first day of the auction video exporting rather. And that's good, because that doesn't go up until tomorrow. I already had one for today. So that's pushing us a little bit ahead, which is necessary because I'm behind. So really pushing ahead is just trying to catch up. Anyways, it's not super late, but I'm gonna go to bed, even if I don't necessarily go to sleep early. I just want to lay down because I'm sleepy. I'm feeling sleepy. That's how I feel. So good night. Good night. Join me as my journey continues. Good night.